Okay, so I want to tell you a story about one of the most sneaky and deceiving tricks that casinos use to try to draw you into their casino and get you hooked on their games. Now, this is a typical strategy that poker rooms use, and it's called a bad beat jackpot. Now, if you don't know what a bad beat jackpot is, it's usually this board that they have on the poker room on the wall, and it'll say something along the lines of if you play a poker hand in our casino and you lose with four of a kind aces or better, then you win this rolling jackpot. And they call it a bad beat jackpot. Because in poker, that's essentially what a bad beat is when you lose with a super strong hand. So you'll find these bad beat jackpots pretty frequently in the majority of poker rooms, especially in Las Vegas. Now, the first time that I ever heard of this or seen one was when I went to Las Vegas for the first time when I think I was maybe 24 or 23, something like that. And I remember going to the Venetian Casino with my brother. And at the time, we were just low stakes players, and we played the usual $200 or $300 buy in for no limit hold'em. Now, what we noticed in the Venetian was they had this massive sign on the wall for a bad beat jackpot. And the amount was staggering. I think it was somewhere over $50,000, like closer to 60,000. And I thought that this was pretty crazy. Now, the interesting thing was that the bad beat jackpot hit while I was playing at a table. Now, this story is significant, and it's one that I want to share because the bad beat jackpot, it reinforces this idea or this trap that gets people really addicted to gambling, and it's the what if factor. It's like, what if it's my lucky day today? What if my numbers are going to show up? And what if I'm just going to hit it big? And this is the reason why so many people play the lottery or scratch tickets or gamble at the casino. It's for that chance, that rush of hitting it big and just beating the odds. Now, what ended up happening was that during this trip in Vegas, me and my brother were super addicted to playing poker. And when I mean addicted, I mean playing sessions in the 14 to 16 hour range. Like I'm talking about, we'd wake up, eat some food, go to the poker room, and then just play all day, all night until like 4 a.m. or something crazy. Like we were addicts, we were junkies, and this is what we love to do. And so I remember this one hand where I think me and my brother were playing at opposite tables. And I didn't really pay too much attention to the bad beat jackpot or any of the promotions that these casinos have because I'm usually just concentrated on playing my game. You know, I was addicted to the game of poker. I was addicted to gambling. And this was something that I just love to do. But what was totally amazing about this trip was that eventually there was this pot at my table, and I don't know how the hand went exactly, but I wasn't in it. I folded, and this lady raised, and a couple other guys called, and this one lady and this other guy, they played this massive, massive pot. And I remember the board, the 5 community cards that you use in poker, were very connected and very suited. I believe there was a lot of diamonds. So something along the lines of there was 2 aces, ace of diamonds, 2, 3, 4. Like it was very connected. So straight flush was possible, and 4 of a kind aces was possible as well. And what's crazy was that when these 2 players went all in on the river, the lady showed her hand, which was pocket aces. So she had 4 of a kind aces, and she was like ecstatic to win this pot. And this guy, I think he showed like 4 or 5 of diamonds or something like that. And he made what's called the steel wheel, which is a straight from ace to 5, but he had a straight flush. And so originally, this was interesting because she felt dejected. She was like, oh my gosh, like I lost with 4 of a kind aces. She lost this like $600 pot, and this guy was extremely happy. But what she didn't realize was that she actually hit the bad beat jackpot. And someone at the table mentioned this to her and just let her know. And then she went from just pure sadness and anger and dejection all of a sudden she was ecstatic. Like she got that feeling that she hit it big, she won the lottery. And she had no idea how much she won. And neither did I, because I didn't really pay too much attention to it. And she won somewhere along the lines of, it was like 58,500. It was like some obscure amount like that. I just remember it was just slightly below 60,000. And this is in US dollars. And it was also cool because they gave every other player at the table $100. So I ended up getting $100. So I benefited from this. And I always remember this story, not just because of the fact that I saw this lady win an exorbitant amount of money, or that, I saw something super interesting and cool, but I realized how big of a trap the bad beat jackpot actually is. Because you see these progressive jackpots in something like slot machines, for example. You see that there's like this jackpot that's like progressively growing and growing and only getting bigger. And what it does is it gives you this false hope that if you just keep playing, that if you just keep going, that eventually you might get lucky and win that jackpot. But if you calculate the odds of that happening, it's like getting hit by lightning or whatever, right? Like winning one of those massive slot machine jackpots. The odds, it's so minuscule in comparison to, the amount of money that you'll lose in the process by playing these games, that it becomes very, very deceiving and ends up becoming a trap. And I knew this because after witnessing this hand at the Venetian Casino, all I could think about were bad beat jackpots. Like I wanted to make sure whenever I played poker, I played it at a casino that had one of these bad beat jackpots, because just in case, what if, I might get a crazy hand and lose or win and get one of these massive jackpots and win like some 5-figure bonus. And this is a terrible thing to think about, because it influences the way that I bet money. It influences the way that I thought. It influences the way that I made decisions. And so the rest of this Vegas trip, I was just obsessed with hunting out which casinos had which bonuses, which casinos gave, what type of bad beat jackpots to whatever players. Like I was just obsessed with this whole idea of, that what if. That what if it's my lucky day? What if I hit it big? And what if I just win one of these massive prizes? And this is really sad, because stuff like this, these are tricks that will get novices addicted to the game. And this is probably a lot more prevalent in something like slots, for example. But I actually fell for this trap when I was super young. It was such a weird thing to think about. And what perpetuated this problem for me was I ended up winning sort of a similar bad beat jackpot, later on in that same trip, but it was something minor. It was like $80 or something like that. It was like this casino that had these a lot smaller jackpots for certain hands, and so I ended up winning another tiny amount of money. But again, it's these circumstances or these magical situations when you win some money that you feel like you shouldn't have won, and you get that dopamine hit and you get all excited and feel amazing. And those moments are short-lived, because if these tactics and promotions and tricks that casinos use, if they're effective at sucking you in, then they're the ones who are going to win. And you're just going to kill yourself long term. You're just going to lose all your money. And it's such a terrible trap to fall into. And so I always remember this story, because not only did I see this one lady go from dejection to pure happiness, but it caused me to really chase this artificial bonus feature. And I realized I was just like any other lottery player or a scratch ticket holder. I was trying to hit it big, beat the odds, and win that massive payday. And, if you aren't aware of what these casinos are doing, if you aren't aware of what these gambling websites are offering you in the form of sign-up bonuses or promotions or special offers, or, these are all traps. They're all financial traps that is just going to suck all your money long term. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this gambling addiction story. If you missed the last one, you can watch that right here. And if you want to follow any other of my work, I have a podcast and a newsletter that you can subscribe to. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.